Alright, hello, welcome. My name is Jason Welsh, and today we're going to be looking at spot colors. First, a little explanation of why we have to kind of look at spot colors. If you are a person that just has an inkjet printer at home, if you're a person that does digital photography and you're taking a picture of something and you're printing it off onto that inkjet printer, you would not have to worry about spot colors. Spot colors are handled when we have to worry about press and runs. And let's say if we have a picture, that picture is got 3 or 4 colors in it. And if you want to produce a lot of that picture, you would run it at press level, not inkjet. Inkjet would cost you, a couple, $3 or $4 per picture. And then if you were to run it through an offset press, it substantially lessens that cost. That's for sure. So we're talking about something like this. Here's an offset press, a very blurry picture one. I guess I could have picked a better one on the internet. But this is it's an older model press, but I chose it because, wow, that's a really old one. But basically what happens is you have an ink roller, and you're mixing this ink by hand. And the ink gets translated here, and water gets translated over here. And where water is, ink isn't, because ink and water don't mix. But there's going to be a nice little addition to a cylinder where this plate sits on here. And when the plate actually strikes and has a little bit of kind of a tooth to the plate, very, very, very light tooth, it'll make an impression on the paper, because over here it'll translate it over to the offset cylinder and then onto the paper. It looks like a very complex operation, but it really isn't. Basically, though, it runs on the principle that ink and water don't mix, and when you're making this plate, let's see if I can find a picture of a plate. I guess that'll work. And this right here is going to be your plate. You print this out nowadays. We can do that. We used to do it with film, but now we can do it with just printing off the plate and then attaching it to the cylinder. It has a little bit of tooth right here where it picks up the ink and transfers it over to this cylinder and then onto the paper. All right, so that's why we have to use spot colors. They're useful in other things too. If you were doing a t-shirt business, I would say doing the separations on your color could very easily be done with spot colors, no doubt about it. But we're going to set this scenario up because we do have an offset printer here at work, and what we're going to do is take and make a document. And this is in InDesign, so open up InDesign, this icon right here, and open up a new document. You want this new document to be a wide format with no facing pages and 0.25. Click anywhere else and it changes automatically, and hit OK. So 0.25. What we're going to do is separate this document up. I'm going to clean up some of my real estate here. So first off, I'm going to go onto my master page. I do that by going on my master page and then clicking, so making this highlighted A master must be black and white, just like that. And I'm going to drag a line out here at 5.5 because that's what separates a piece of paper in half. And then 1/4 of an inch away from that, and 1 more quarter of an inch away from that. What I'm doing here is dragging guides out from the ruler. So you have to click on the ruler, then drag out. And since I set that on my master page, what happens is now if I go to page 1 and double click, it's also there. And it's also, any time I make a new page, it's always going to be on those two because it's on my master page. So I can't touch these lines now. Can't physically move them at all. They don't exist. Only if I went back to my master page would they exist. So it's a really handy thing, because if you get a lot of assets, you want things that are affecting all pages to go on your A master. Alright, now that we set up the guidelines and everything, what I want to do is make sure I save this, and I want to do this in a folder on my desktop, because then we can move it over as an assignment later on. So make a new folder, go to desktop, new folder, and then first name, last name, and then we'll just call this for right now Spot. Okay, and in that I'm going to say spot color. And there we go. So in the next video I'm going to lay out, what we're going to put as far as a graphic in here, and how we're going to translate color in a much different way in the next video.